Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm an Atlanta area personal bankruptcy attorney, and today I'd like to talk to you about potential issues that I'm seeing pop up in Chapter 13 when I'm trying to do a cram down. And as you may know, a cram down, and we'll just talk about it in terms of motor vehicles since that's where it applies most, is where under certain circumstances, when a creditor files a claim in Chapter 13, we can reduce that claim down to the value of the vehicle plus a reasonable interest rate. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say that you have a vehicle, let's just call it a Chevrolet Blazer, and the contract balance on it is $23,000. But this vehicle had been rolled over a couple of times, and the value of the vehicle, let's say it's a 2010 or 2012 vehicle, is only $10,000, but the claim is $22,000 or $23,000. Well, if we can do a cram down, instead of paying $23,000, which is the proof of claim, we can pay that vehicle at $10,000 with a lower interest rate because it is old enough, and it's got to be at least, the contract has to be at least 910 days old, about 2.5 years. So if you bought your vehicle more than 910 days ago, we can do a cram down. And so I've seen situations where a vehicle with a debt on it was $23,000, $24,000. We end up paying $12,000 on it. Interest rate was 8%. We paid 3% or 4%. It can save you a ton of money to do a cram down like this. And cram downs are a very interesting concept in Chapter 13. Years ago, we didn't have the 910-day rule. Now we do. So we've got to know, first of all, when you bought the car. So we don't want to file bankruptcy if we're within the 910 days, if it's about to expire. So if we look and do a date calculation, and it's calendar days, not business days, if we see that you bought your vehicle 903 days ago, I'm going to tell you to wait a week or 10 days before we file Chapter 13, because now we can do a cram down. It can save you a ton of money. And of course, in some cases, a cram down is not going to really help you at all. If the vehicle is worth what's owed on it, it's not going to really help you very much. If the interest rate's reasonable, it may not make a difference. But there are some cases, especially when you've refinanced a couple of times or rolled a couple of vehicles into the current purchase, where you've got a really high interest rate, a cram down can save you a bunch of money. What I'm finding, though, is when I'm doing cram downs, is that the car lender is challenging me on the appraisal value of the vehicle. So let's say that I had typically what I tell my clients to do is take your vehicle to a CarMax, have them give you a quick buy appraisal, how much they pay for it. I always thought that was a pretty fair way to know what the vehicle's worth. But I've had a couple of lenders' attorneys tell me that they feel like CarMax is too low, and they will have their own appraiser come out and appraise the vehicle. Well, guess what their appraiser is going to do? They're going to give a much higher figure. So, and what happens, to take this to the nth degree, is that if we can't agree on a valuation, and sometimes we can compromise it, but sometimes we can't, then the creditor's attorney will say, I want to do a valuation hearing. I want the judge to consider what the value of this vehicle is. And what would happen there was that the creditor's attorney will bring in their appraiser. We would have to bring in our own appraiser and go in front of the judge. And that's all great, except that if I'm going to have to do another hearing like that, that's going to be additional attorney's fees. So obviously we don't want to do that unless we absolutely have to. And of course, now we also find ourselves in a situation where it's appraiser versus appraiser. What is the judge going to believe? And I've done this a couple of times, and I've always won, but there's a risk you could lose. Now you have to pay extra attorney's fees, and you got to pay the higher figure as well. So is there really a way around that? You can't stop the creditor's attorney from challenging it, but what I would tell you to do now is, instead of just going to CarMax, go to 2 or 3 places. Get 2 or 3 estimates from used car dealers about what they would pay you for your vehicle. So if I get a call from the creditor's attorney saying, you know what, we think that vehicle is really worth, that $22,000 claim, instead of $10,000, we think it's worth $19,000 or $20,000, and I can point to 2 or 3, actual appraisals or purchase offers that are in the $10,000 or $11,000 range. that's going to at least make the creditor's attorney think about whether he or she wants to take this in front of the judge. Because if I go in front of the judge and I've got my own appraiser and he can also testify that there was 2 or 3 other appraisers and there's some hearsay issues there, but let's say we can get past that. If there's 4 estimates that are all saying the vehicle's worth $10,000 or $10,500 and they've got one person saying it's worth $22,000, I'm probably going to win. So you can preempt some of these problems by taking your vehicle to get 2 or 3 appraisers to look at it, or not even appraisers, but just purchase managers at used car dealers to take a look at it. We can get an appraiser. I mean, I know a couple of appraisers that will look at your vehicle and give you an estimate as well. So we could do that too. But knowing what your vehicle's worth, because a lot of times the problem could be some sort of an internal, maybe the engine's not working, or there's some sort of problem with the air conditioning, or there's a part that needs to be fixed. So all that stuff needs to be factored in, and sometimes the appraiser that the creditor has come take a look at it is not going to factor those things in, but the person actually making an offer to buy it, put his cash on the line, is going to consider those type of things. And so the more evidence we have that this vehicle is really only worth $10,000 or $11,000, the better it's going to be when it comes to doing a cram down and to preempting challenges about the value of that vehicle. So that's what I would tell you if you think we're going to do a cram down. And get me some data, get me some evidence about the value of the vehicle. It can go a long way to preventing problems with cram downs and to making sure we can get the most out of reducing the debt that you owe and save you, $5,000, $10,000 and a lot of money in interest rates as well. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, like it on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and like our Facebook page. Leave me a comment. Let me know, have you had an experience with a cram down, positive or negative? What do you think about the concept? What do you think about car valuations? Where would you go to get an effective or an accurate car valuation? What other sources could you use that might help preempt this problem? We've got a great community of users and viewers, both on Facebook and at YouTube, and I encourage you to make your voice known. I'd like to hear what you have to say. If you've not already done so, please visit my website, glowlaw.com, GLOLAW.com. You can learn about my firm, all the things that we do. You can reach out to me that way for a case evaluation. We can talk about your possible bankruptcy case, and if I can be of assistance to you, I'd be happy to do so. My name again is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm an Atlanta area personal bankruptcy attorney, and I look forward to hearing from you soon if I can help you. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan, and I hope you found this video helpful. I'd like to invite you to download my free Debt Destroyer Survival Kit right now. I've packed my survival kit with answers to the questions I've heard from clients for over 25 years here in the Atlanta area. Inside the survival kit, you'll find clear, easy to understand answers to critical topics about how to solve debt problems once and for all, including how do I protect my stuff, my house, car, and personal property if I file for bankruptcy? Are there any legitimate alternatives to bankruptcy? Will I ever get credit again, and if so, when? What mistakes must I avoid to get the most benefit out of bankruptcy? You can claim your copy right now by visiting my atlanta-bankruptcy.com website. And you are always welcome to use the email form on my website to ask me anything about debt and personal bankruptcy in Atlanta. www.atlanta-bankruptcy.com. And as always, I wish you the best.